coming up on Colonial Sports Center.
Welcome to Colonial Sports Center. I'm David Szymanski, and alongside me, as always, is Greg Sutton. But it won't be as always for much longer. This is our last show together for the semester.
Absolutely, and as that spring semester starts to dwindle, David, as those finals start creeping up on us, the spring sports are in full swing.
They are. The Masters started today, which means we've got a golf-packed show for you guys. Max Palmer is in studio. He's one of my teammates. He's coming off of NEC Player of the Week with a great finish up at Lafayette. You're going to get to hear about how he's doing this spring and what his goals are for the rest of the season.
And David, golf isn't the only thing in full swing right now, as you guys like to swing the clubs over there on the course. But men's and women's lacrosse are both right in action right now, and men's lacrosse played this past weekend at Bryant.
Right, they did. And later in the show, we're going to have Shayla Morris sit down with a four-year starter, Dana Davis, and talk to her what motivates her success on the field. But
before we jump into that, David, like I just said, we got to talk about that men's lacrosse game at Bryant. After we all know, after defeating Mount St. Mary's last weekend down in Maryland, the Colonials were looking to return home with that win to Joe Walton Stadium to defeat the Bryant Bulldogs to keep extending their win streak, except this time to 6 in a row. Matt Schmidt would also look to score a point in his 8th straight game this season. Jump right into things here as the Colonials moving the ball really well down there by their net. Matt Schmidt from a distance able to extend that streak to 8 games. His highest shot on goal percentage was 72%, hitting the net 3 times with the 5 shots he took, 2 of which went in. There we get to see a great save by goaltender Alex Hager. He has made 109 saves on the season. But a name we've been hearing a lot lately, Adrian Torek-Orban. This is his second game being able to score 3 goals, as we get to take another peek at that goal in the reaction from the Bryant goaltender. Now we'll jump into the second quarter where things kind of got out of hand from the Colonial side, and Bryant started to take over slowly as Bryant works behind the net, out around, and a long shot from the NEC logo down there at Joe Walton by Jake Fisk. He has only 4 points on the season with 3 goals and assists as a sophomore defender. Now into the fourth quarter of action. Colonials trying to keep things to a minimum, but Mark O'Rourke, the freshman this season, with 23 goals. The Bulldogs able to beat the Colonials. The Colonials lost their first game in a month, with Bryant being able to score 10 goals, while Robert Morris was only able to score 7. With their last loss coming from nationally ranked Rutgers 2 months ago on February 3rd. Matt Schmidt was able to keep that point streak alive by scoring 2 goals for the Colonials, scoring 1 in each half. And Adrian Torek-Orban also had a good night by netting a hat trick in the second game in a row. And now Ryan Giacobbe joins me here on Sideset. He's our men's lacrosse analyst. Ryan, thanks for coming in tonight.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
And Ryan, why don't we jump right into the swing of things? So, what did you see from an analyst point of view in that game against Bryant this past weekend?
All right. Well, the game against Bryant, both teams were competing to. Robert Morris's win streak was 5 games, but then Robert Morris wanted to break that streak, Robert Morris's streak against Bryant. The losses extend to go back to 2012. Robert Morris was hoping to snap that streak and go back to their winning ways against Bryant. And now, in the first half of the game, both teams would not let up on each other. But then in the second half of the game, the Bryant University Bulldogs, they started getting a little bit of an edge against the Colonials, which ultimately proved to be the downfall of the Colonials' winning streak.
So, Ryan, what didn't we see from the Colonials this last game that we've seen in those past 5 games where they had that 5-game win streak going for them?
Well, they had some miscues that were very much unlike them. There were some shots that just didn't go in. They really need to step up their game in this last final stretch of the season.
And what did you see this past weekend that you thought really went well for the Colonials that they need to continue on doing in order to keep that national rank that they've earned so very well?
I think seeing them work as a team, has been a key component for them in part of their 5-game win streak, which is now gone.
So with that teamwork, Alex Hager, we've talked a lot about him. We had him in studio last week. What key component do you see that he plays other than just a goaltender?
I think the amount of saves that he has, he's a top performer in the NCAA. And I think just being able to have his good coordination has been able to go out and get those saves whenever he can.
So moving into this latest half of the season, I think six or seven games left on the calendar for the Colonials. What do they need to do in order to be able to win the NEC and maybe even move farther upon the season?
Execution, all right? Some of the, like I said, some of the shots were wide. Some of them just didn't go in. They really need to go forward on the execution. They've been really good about with their scorekeeping, especially during their win streak. And now if they can just keep up with the execution, I think they'll be able to get a good stretch for the last few games of the regular season.
So I know you're really pounding home that offensive side of the ball for the Colonials, but what do they need to do on defense in order to keep this drive going with this national ranking?
Just be on your feet, all right? Just being able to coordinate left side, right side, middle. Just being able to just be on your feet. Just be focused, and just good focus and coordination will help with their defense.
All right, Ryan, I really appreciate you coming in tonight. But now I'm going to throw it over to David Szymanski on the desk so he can talk a little bit more about that golf season that's in full swing right now.
The weather has been a challenge for spring sports this season, and no team has been challenged more than men's golf. This past weekend, they traveled to Lafayette for the Coca-Cola Lehigh Valley Invitational, which was supposed to be 36 holes over 2 days, but inclement weather turned it into 36 holes in just 1 day. The team had one of their best performances of the season, finishing 3rd overall. Helping the Colonials was Alex Schreckengast, who shot a 151, including a hole-out eagle from the fairway. Freshman Nick Mahalo finished in the top 10 in his 2nd career start with a solid day of play. And the man we have in studio, my co-captain Max Palmer, shot a 2-under 142 for a 3-way tie for first. However, he lost in the first hole of the playoff for his 2nd runner-up finish of the year.
Hey guys, I'm Mike Evans, and I'm here with Max Palmer. How you doing, Max?
Good, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Just real quick, what is your favorite course that you've played with the team so far here at Robert Morris University?
Favorite course was definitely this fall out at West Virginia, the Diet Golf Club. It was West Virginia's tournament out there, just such a cool place.
And how's playing there helped you contribute to the team?
I think definitely just seeing a totally different golf course makes it exciting for all of us, and we kind of get to see a little different things out there.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. And when we come back, we're going to hear more from you. We're going to have Shayla Morris with Dana Davis. Logan Carney is down to talk to running back coach Lorard Stephen Howard. All of that and more coming up on Colonial Sports Center.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool. Oh, yeah. Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back, everybody, to Colonial Sports Center. Once again, I'm here with Max Palmer. Good to have you in studio, Max.
Thanks, appreciate
So this weekend you played a round at Lafayette College, and you finished this weekend with a 2-under 142 and a second round 3-under 69. And it took you to a 3-way playoff. What was the playoff pressure like?
It was not as severe as I thought it would. I think after playing that 36-hole day, it kind of takes a lot out of you, so the pressure isn't there as much, and you kind of get used to playing the golf course. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it would.
And have you ever been in a playoff before?
I have. I've been in a few before. Most of them have been successful. That one unfortunately wasn't, but that's okay. That happens.
Stuff happens. So like, what's your favorite way to like amp yourself up for something like that?
Maybe Dave Schmansky, one of your guys' hosts here. He usually gets me amped before tournaments. Just kind of talking with the team always gets me amped to play. I think coaches and teams.
Yeah, you mentioned David. What kind of leader is David on the team? You said you're his co-captain.
Yeah, so I'm a co-captain. Dave's the other co-captain. He's really good. He's good at kind of making sure everything's in order. I think he's more the serious captain. I'd say I'm more of the the fun captain.
Well, you're definitely no slack yourself. Last season you won NEC Rookie of the Year. What is that like? You led the team in scoring last year.
Yeah, that was exciting. I came in my freshman year not really having too many goals or expectations, so just kind of getting to play and play that much and even play well was always fun. And I think kind of getting that award is humbling, definitely.
So did you play golf before college? Were you golfing in high school?
Yeah, I golfed in high school a good amount. That's probably my 8th grade or freshman years when it started to become pretty serious. I was playing golf with my dad and my brother for a long time before that, probably since I was 5 years old. So.
And you're obviously doing quite well so far from what I can see. What's your goal for the team and yourself in this conference season?
Individual goals are tough to set, but definitely one of them is to get that individual win. I was close this last weekend. I was close earlier in the fall too, but hopefully it'll come soon. It's fun to keep chasing that. Team goal definitely is to go down to Daytona for our conference championship and win that. I think we have a very good chance to do so, and hopefully we can do that this year.
And what does the team need to do to win in Daytona?
One thing I think struggled with in the fall was putting with playing golf. We play 5 players. We count the 4 best scores, and usually in the fall we had 2 or 3 good scores, and we were lacking that 4th score that would put us in the top of the leaderboard. And last weekend we did a pretty good job at that, and if we can just continue that trend, which we have in the past couple tournaments, then I think we could stand a really good chance down there in Florida.
And that's great. I'm glad that you guys can see what you're working towards. So what do you do whenever you're working towards winning like this? What goes into your guys' practices?
Coach Stone has been with us or with the team for a very long time. We listen to him. He's been around all these tracks before. He's been down to Florida a fair amount at that golf course, so he definitely knows what we need to do to win down there. So we listen to him when we're at practice, hitting certain shots, making sure everything looks fundamentally correct, and along with kind of being creative too plays a big part in playing golf. So.
And you mentioned Coach Stone being around for a long time, and what is something important that you think he's taught you over your 2 years being here so far?
I think I definitely came in as a freshman who thought I knew everything about golf and didn't really maybe take much advice, and he's definitely helped me open my mind and take a lot of advice, and I guess learn how to play different kinds of golf courses too.
That's great to hear. Max, thanks so much for coming down to talk with us tonight. And awesome. We're going to send it back over to Greg and David on the desk.
Thanks for that insight into the golf team, Mike and Max. We travel tomorrow morning. We get up early at 6 a.m. to travel. But now let's jump from the golf course over to the lacrosse field. Dana Davis has been an integral part of the women's lacrosse team for all 4 years she has been here. She currently sits 10th all-time in assists, 7th in goals, and 6th in points. With half of her senior year remaining, she looks to cement herself as one of the all-time greats in RMU lacrosse history. Shayla Morris is sitting down with Dana Davis to discuss her play and the team.
Thanks, David, for that great introduction. So welcome, Dana, to Colonial Sports Center, and we're going to jump right in. So recently, I think it was last weekend, your team got your first ACC win against Louisville. And what was that like for you and your team?
That was an awesome experience for the team. It was a really good boost for the team. It was the game where we finally, a lot of things came together that needed to come together, and it sort of helped prove to ourselves and prove to a lot of people that we're a force to be reckoned with.
In this season, you're a senior this year, so your final season. So what's it like kind of making the transition from freshman to sophomore to junior year now being the leading scorer on your team at the moment?
The transition's been kind of difficult but easy. It's sort of just take every day as it comes and each day work on something new and to try and get yourself ready for the next game and the next day.
And speaking of transitions in the off-season, you went through a coaching change in the off-season this season. So how's that been for the team? How's everybody adjusted? How's everything moved towards this season to being the successful team that you are now?
Katrina was always our defensive coach, so it was a pretty easy transition. Not much has changed. She's same sort of coaching style, little changes here and there, but it hasn't been anything drastic that would have caused much turmoil.
And so going into the season, obviously the goal as a team is to get an NEC championship, as it is for every team. But what powers your own personal motivation to get this goal?
I think it's just the team that I'm on now. We all have the same goal, and every day we go out to try and get better. And so it's pretty much to work hard for the girls around me, because that's what we all want to do, and we all have each other's backs.
So moving into the season, you're a senior. There are only 3 of you. So what's that like, kind of having to share a leadership role and be in a leadership role? I'm sure that it's not the first time, but I feel like now that you are a senior, looking up for the freshman and the sophomore, and what's that responsibility like for you?
It's all right. I mean, it's not that big. It's always having each other's backs. I think everyone can have a leadership position on the field no matter what age you are. It's about holding yourself accountable, holding your teammates accountable, and doing what's best. And I think it comes down to just working hard every single day for the same goal.
And what do you think the team this season, what do you think your strongest aspect of this team?
We will never give up. I think every single game we leave everything out there, and we make the changes we need to make whenever our coach says to. And we will always work as hard as we can no matter what.
That is always great as a team aspect. And what is it like bonding with a team like that? Are you together all the time? Because as girls being together so often, I'm sure that it can be kind of, everybody gets frustrated as a team. And how do you handle team frustrations when problems arise?
We're together a lot. We get along really, really well. We don't really have many issues, and if we do, it's handled really quickly. And they're just a great team. We all get along, and there's never really many problems, and we all have a great time together. And every day we walk on the field, we always laugh, we always joke around, but we always get down to work when we need to.
And that's always a great thing to have. So moving forward, who do you look up to begin your season? Who is a role model, whether it be a coach or a past player or a professor? Who do you base your style on play? Like, who do you strive to be?
I really look up to my coach, Katrina, and our old coach, Katie Phillips. They always pushed us to be our best and always try our best every single day. And they have taught me so much, not only as a lacrosse player, but as a human. And I appreciate everything they've done for me.
Okay. And as you go on, I know that we talked about it earlier. How do you handle being a student athlete, in a sense? We talked about being a nursing major and how difficult that can be. And last year, the NEC Lacrosse Women's Scholar Athlete of the Year, which is a large accomplishment. And how do you balance that workload?
I think it comes down to time management and sort of prioritizing. Each day, I sort of have a general schedule of what I need to get done that day. And so I try my best to make sure I have time to do everything that I want to do that day. And if something comes up, I even try to have a little bit of wiggle room if I need to fit something else in or do something else. But I always try and have time to sort of relax, hang out with my friends, and get some sleep at night as well.
Sleep is one of the most important aspects.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. And so, wrapping this up, what is your plan for post-graduation as a senior?
I plan to get a nursing job. Not sure where, but I really like critical care nursing and emergency department nursing, so I hope to get a job in one of those fields.
That's great. Well, thank you for coming on,
Thank you so
Dana.
much. We appreciate it.
Well, you're not going to want to leave. Next, we have Logan Carney, who sat down with Leroy Stephen Howlings. So you're not going to want to miss it on Colonial Sports Center.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Here at Robert Morris University, we pride ourselves at the experience that our students gain while they're actively learning in the classroom. Some even come back to share that knowledge with new students.
I never dreamed that I'd be back here. I'm having so much fun. I'm doing a lot of what I was trained to do and what I went to school for.
The Colonial Sports Network is a great opportunity for students to learn real job skills in sports programming.
To be able to see what the students want to make of it, because it can be anything that they want.
I love being here, seeing students, seeing myself in the students that work with me, and I'm really blessed to have so much talent to work with. It's really amazing.
To be able to see students become successful after Upper Point is really cool.
Join the Colonial Sports Network team and expand your future today.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. And Greg, they say football is not a game that you can play for your entire life.
But David, I like to say it is a game that will be a part of your entire life.
For some, it is. And that's what happens when you go from a player to a coach.
Just as running back coach LeRod Stephen Hollings has done after playing at Pitt and then playing in the NFL with the Cardinals and a little bit there with the Steelers, and then coming to coach at Robert Morris as a running back coach. And Logan Carney got to sit down and get all the insight of his illustrious career.
RMU running backs coach LeRod Stephen Hollings is a man with black and yellow in his veins. His love for sports made him destined to be a Pittsburgh star.
Yeah, I wanted to do everything. I was never sitting around a TV watching games, even NFL games. Like I didn't watch them much. If they were on, my parents were watching, I'd take a peek. But if we had an opportunity, me and my brothers, we had an opportunity to be outside playing football or playing baseball in the sandlot, and I mean, I just wanted to play everything.
After a stellar high school career, Stephen Hollings had the chance to start for his dream college, University of Pittsburgh, at running back. After 2 years starting for the Panthers, the team recruited NFL Pro Bowler LaShawn McCoy, who took the job from Stephen Hollings. After that, he had to make the transition from running back to backup.
It was a dream come true. Like I said, my dad was a huge Pitt fan, Tony Dorsett fan. So when they called, it was a blessing. When I was told that, LaShawn McCoy was going to be starting, it wasn't easy. I can't act like it, sit here and say that I was, happy-go-lucky, but, I had some conversations with my dad. He helped me a lot. The main thing was just focus on what you can control. And once I took those words in and, figured it out, I still have to remain myself. I still have to be a leader. Dave Wanstead, came up to me and said, this team still needs you to be their captain. So I took the role and I ran with it, and it worked out for the best. But a lot of guys get in that position and they kind of fold, or they run away from the problem, transfer to another school. But I took the problem and challenged myself to get through it, and I wanted to be a great teammate to my team.
After 5 seasons in the NFL, an ACL tear unfortunately forced a swift end to his career. It was then that Stephen Hollings decided to go on to coaching.
Then after the Super Bowl in 2016, I had a talk with my wife, and I said, I'm ready to see what's next. I didn't want to hold on to that any longer. I wanted to get my next career started, and I wanted to be a coach. I love the game of football. I love being a mentor to these younger guys. Being an undersized guy, I had to learn technique. I had to study guys, what they were doing, and I think that's what I can help the running backs I have now. Learn how to study, learn how to get your pre-snap reads, what's going to put you in the best position to do your job. There's a good mix of guys who have been some places and all have great ideas, and it's great. The energy feels great here right now, and we're looking forward to finish out spring ball and keep it going into the summer.
Getting to spend the majority of his life in Pittsburgh, Stephen Hollings feels blessed to continue his career right at home.
Growing up about an hour and a half outside of Pittsburgh in Johnstown, PA, getting the call from Pitt when I was in high school and being able to come here, it was my home for 4 years. It's been awesome. It was great when I was able to come back in 2013 and play for the Steelers. And then my wife is from here. My family's been here. And then when I got the opportunity to come to Robert Morris, it was a no-brainer for me, and I was excited about the opportunity. I love being around the game. I love coaching and figuring out strategies and things like that. So wherever that takes me, it takes me. I'm going to do my best job wherever I am.
This is Logan Carney.
For LaRod Stevens-Hauling, life after football was football. A pretty insightful look there by Logan Carney.
Yeah, and a very good insight there by Logan Carney, as you just said. But in a couple minutes, we're going to get to talk about the games that are upcoming in RMU the week that was.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Here at Robert Morris University, we pride ourselves at the experience that our students gain while they're actively learning in the classroom. Some even come back to share that knowledge with new students.
I never dreamed that I'd be back here. I'm having so much fun. I'm doing a lot of what I was trained to do and what I went to school for.
The Colonial Sports Network is a great opportunity for students to learn real job skills in sports programming.
To be able to see what the students want to make of it, because it can be anything that they want.
I love being here, seeing students, seeing myself in the students that work with me, and I'm really blessed to have so much talent to work with. It's really amazing.
To be able to see students become successful after Upper Morris is really cool.
Join the Colonial Sports Network team and expand your future today.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. And Greg, I think it's time to see what these spring teams are doing this next week, what games they've got coming up.
Absolutely. I think it's a pretty exciting week this upcoming week because both the men's and women's lacrosse teams are in the conference play. So Friday, we have women's lacrosse versus Wagner and women's track versus Burt Class, which is an all-day event for the track team.
Yeah, no, that should be pretty good. And a team that we didn't talk about a whole lot this week was softball, but hopefully next week we're talking about them as they're going on the road for an NEC opponent, Mount St. Mary's.
And then you and the golf team, along with Max Palmer, will be heading down to Townsend in Maryland to compete Saturday and Sunday in all-day events.
Yep, headed out tomorrow, 6 a.m., bright and early.
I bet you're really excited to get up at 5 o'clock to get ready to go at 6 o'clock.
I am. But let's head and let's see what the week that was with this piece that we highlight all of the big plays from this past week.
in a great highlight video that Matt Simkovic does every week that we like to call RMU The Week That Was. But from me and you, David, and all of our guests and everybody in the studio, we'd like to thank you for tuning in and have a good night.